opportunities on one of the biggest, if not the biggest networks in sports and TV. It's called HBO. So when you take the swag bag and all those things that's in that, he's different than everybody else. They said that. And I said, absolutely right. You're right. But there's always more that I want to show other than just what they see. And so far, I'm going to do that even more when I'm done after December 17th.
Been a broadcast there.
I love it. I respect it.
Roy Jones is also
Roy's in trouble
as well. I was going to say, is there a competition between you two?
There's no competition. It's just that if everything is judged on performance, then you must step your game up. Any job that you have, including being married, having a girlfriend or boyfriend, or a job where there's always going to be competition. And if you don't step your game up and you let things just fall to the wayside and you don't look like you used to look 2 or 3 years ago, neither do I. But at least if you don't try to make an effort, a sincere effort to always keep the flame lit, then your job is always up for grabs in any situation. I say any situation. So I look at that in sports, I look at it in personal, I look at that in everything that I possibly can imagine where you can be replaced. And so there's no competition with nobody else that breathes the same air that I breathe. You know what the competition I am involved in? Me. I'm in competition with myself, because even though I believe I can do whatever I can do, they don't believe it. And it's not whether they do or don't. I recognize that I challenge myself more than anybody in this room will ever challenge me, to push me to the limit. And it's not just sports, it's in everything. I believe in myself more than people do. And I've been victorious in proving them wrong.
Bernard, there was a point in time in your life where all of this didn't seem likely, and that was because you had going into prison serving an 18-year sentence, only served 5. But there was a point in time in your life where all of this would just have been a dream. How does it feel to be able to sit here and reflect back on how much you've overcome and the odds that you've overcome?
Really, it never gets old to me. It might get old to people that hear me talk about what you just mentioned, but it never get old to me because it is part of that foundation that I stand on. It would have just been a dream, but even the dream probably wouldn't have been talked about, because how can you dream something that you can't even imagine what would happen in a state of mind, in the state of behavior that I was involved or in. But what you said is so important, because even though that didn't happen, thank God, just imagine how many great talent of anything, not just sports, that didn't get the opportunity or didn't want the opportunity that I grabbed the bull by the horns and took advantage of. I believe it was a Michael Jordan out there before Michael Jordan. I believe it was a Bernard Hopkins out there before Bernard Hopkins. Well, he was in East LA, he was in Compton, he was in Watts or whatever, and got shot, got killed because he was a blood, he had green, he had red, he had whatever on earth. I believe there was a lot of us before I became blossomed to be who I am, and somehow they didn't make it. Either they didn't want to, wrong place at the wrong time, just wasn't good enough, or didn't think they was good enough, didn't push forward. It only takes that little bit of dream killers, or situations, or someone talk you out of it. I was told by my parole man to stay out of trouble and don't go to Joe Frazier's. You heard me say it at the podium. Oh yeah. Never forget that. How do you tell a guy he's 25 years old, they got 9 years to walk off, and you're at a halfway house and you got to report at a window and sign your name that you're in on time and go up to your room to the next morning, and you see your counselor because you put a slip in that weekend and you said, Mr. Lane, you know, I was boxing and picked it back up and read it for it. I like to go up Joe Frazier, which is 10 blocks up Broad Street near Temple, and do some boxing about 4 to 7, and I get in a half hour later than I'm supposed to. Is it okay? You can watch this here from there, send somebody there, you know, random. Like random drug tests. You're 25 years old and you want to be a boxer with $1,500 restitution, like $15 million when you broke and in the ghetto and you come home with parole. You can't just pay that with one job check. Now, I don't think he was being malice or mean or a dream killer. But if I would have took his advice, strong story. If I would have just took his advice, it wasn't being mean to me, set me down. Just say, I would say, well, you know, 25 is kind of old to turn pro. In the boxing world, they come from the amateurs, 18, 17, 19. Let me just go to work and be an average citizen, big stomach, 9 to 5. If I'm lucky, I make about $20,000 a year because of my education, GED. It's bigger than boxing, man. My life, my story, and what I represent is bigger than boxing. And very few times I will use the word bigger than boxing. I'll say bigger than the belt, but it's bigger than boxing with me, with this. I became champion when I gave him 9 years of parole without a parking ticket and became who I am. I got my first belt when I got my slip saying my parole is over. Because I couldn't stay out of trouble for 2 days, let alone 9 years. And think I'm afraid of power and he can punch? You talking and listening to a fox. And I never knew no dumb fox. Foxes are smart. They know where to be, when to be, and where to be. And they barely become road killers or road killed. Squirrels do, other animals do, but you very often see a fox laying down, laid out because he got ran over by a tractor trailer or a car. That's why he's a fox.
Did you ever speak to the guy?
What guy?
That told you stay out of trouble?
No.
No?
But I'm glad I ain't listened to him.
Yeah.
That's the key. I'm glad I ain't listened to him. He's giving me good advice.
Gotta wrap it up. You can have
Why not in Philadelphia for your last time out?
Why not in Philadelphia? Why not in LA?
Well, you're Philly roots and you're a Philly fighter. A lot of people.
The last one in Philadelphia. LA, the Forum, no more Spectrum in Philadelphia. If my fans have a TV, and I can imagine in this world of media and social media or internet, can watch me, can see me, even when I'm done, December 17th, I couldn't see a better place at a better time and a better venue than the Forum. And let me tell you, they seem to want it more here, based on business. A lot of things Philly, which I love, can't afford and can't do. No matter if I'm Bernard Hopkins or not. People are starving, people are poor, people are finding their way. They are in confusion because they don't see anything in the next 4 years. Whoever becomes president, they're going to help them. And watch our ass tax people to pay for me to do my last fight. The fans will say fight anywhere and they'll come. But I think this is the perfect time and a perfect place because of the history of the farm, because of the surroundings of how it's going to be done. Couldn't be a better place. I really mean that. Because to do it in Philadelphia, which is a growing big city like most cities are, to change over the last 10 years, right after the recession, to build up from the neighborhoods becoming hood, nanny, yuppie neighborhoods. We call them yuppie neighborhoods. Yes, definitely. This is the perfect place.
All right, we're done here, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Manal.
Thank you.
I really got to ask you one question, though. Really, from the bottom of my heart. Your story. If you filled out a job application, inmate, loser of your first fight, Muslim, and now you're America's darling in terms of boxing. Speak to that guy that's doing 5 years, doing life, at 17-year-old.
If I was to fill out my resume,
If you're applying for a job right now,
if I was applying for a job and I'll say, okay, would you say Muslim,
inmate, loser of your first fight,
lost my, hold up, that's a nice one, I'm going to use that. If I was filling out an application and with my resume, Muslim, lost my first fight, inmate,
stepped on a Puerto Rican flag,
Yeah, we're gonna go.
talk to that brown brother.
Before you leave.
We gotta go. Sorry, guys. Come on. Can you go this side? In front of the manager, you can stand back so you can get the photo.
So what would you say to that? Excuse me. So what would you say to him that has your same story and about creating his own opportunity?
I'm here, you just keep talking.
Yeah, creating his own opportunity.
I would say to him, don't let no one be a dream killer. Don't let no one tell you what you can't do. They're going to tell you, but don't listen to them, don't believe them.
Will you be training in Philadelphia or in Los Angeles?
I'll be training in Philadelphia and Miami.
Bernard, did you want this final fight to be in Philadelphia? And why didn't you get
No, if I wanted to, it's too late. It's here in LA. But to me, wherever I fight is my home.
All right, thank you, guys.
I got 3 decades and it doesn't matter. It's like I'm not hyped one way or another where I fight because the bell gonna ring, 3 minutes around, and you gotta fight.
Come on, let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You got it? Right there. Background too. We got it.
How about that overhand right?
Thanks for coming.
That's been your signature punch.
Yeah.
How do you throw that overhand right? And why is it?
What you doing with the commission?
It's Barbershop Conversations. Hit the subscribe and the like button today.